Stop striving. The Tao does nothing, and yet nothing remains undone. If rulers desire to keep everything in order, they must first order themselves. If rulers would follow the example of the Tao, all problems would resolve themselves. The way of the Tao is simple: stop striving, defeat desire. In the absence of striving, there is peace. In the absence of desire, there is satisfaction. That is chapter 37 of the Tao Te Ching, titled Stop Striving. And where I'd like to start with this is the basis of reality, rather one aspect of reality, that no matter what, change is happening. We are constantly in a state of becoming otherwise, and stasis, complete control, and complete stoppage of change is not going to happen. So when this chapter says stop striving, the question naturally arises, stop striving toward what? And there's value for each individual person in answering that question for ourselves, because the answer isn't going to be the same between any two people. Our interests may align at a certain moment, but overall we're each on this own individual adventure and collective adventure that is lived experience. The universe is happening, and each of us are on a different path within it. Now, looking at this in terms of the prescriptive aspect, the second stanza here, or paragraph, if rulers desire to keep everything in order, they must first order themselves. I think this is a little tongue-in-cheek, because every ruler, taken in its sense, someone who is in charge of other people, someone who has assumed a position of power over others, every ruler putting themselves in order would have no time to order around everyone else. And in many ways, that is an ideal situation, because each person is a ruler of themselves, and each person being a ruler of themselves, being a leader, having ownership over one's own self, being so concerned with consensually maximizing value in their own life, finding order yourself, means more consensually arising value and the elimination, the cessation of violence, the cessation of use of violent force in all circumstances. So it's a little tongue-in-cheek saying, hey, if you believe yourself to be a leader, make sure you have your own house in order. And in the meantime, everyone else should really be doing the same, because we are leaders of our own lives. Now, there's a whole bunch of pieces in here that are probably worth meditating on about defeating desire, the absence of striving, giving up desire to find satisfaction. The meaning of that is going to be different for each and every person. But I want to return back with these last minute and a half here to talk about the first two sentences. The Tao does nothing, and yet nothing remains undone. That sounds an awful lot like the invisible hand of the market that Adam Smith talks about in Wealth of Nations. This is miraculously close to spontaneous order as laid out by Leonard Read and I. Pencil. If you haven't read that, it's a very brief essay about what it takes to create a pencil. And I'll paraphrase here from a kid's version of this, which is that it takes millions of people working together, people who don't speak the same language, who practice different religions, who live in different countries, who will never even meet one another, to put together something as simple and as basic as a pencil. And the point that Leonard Read makes and that Adam Smith leans into is that no one person is going to be able to create a pencil. No one person is going to be able to create anything completely independently, yet it is only the individual contribution of each person coming together voluntarily that allows these incredible things to be created in the first place. It involves each of us as rulers who want things in order to first order ourselves.